All right. So, welcome back to the live stream. This time around, what we're gonna work on, talk about is we're gonna talk about AI specifically. So, it's one of them situations where I saw it at the beginning of the year. Adobe released information all about what they plan on doing with AI. Right? They started introducing generative AI into the um, workflow for a lot of the software, for the software, and they started talking about new ideas about how they intend on incorporating AI into the workflows. And so they had a long list of stuff that they planned on releasing. Something that I figured out that really stuck with me was clip extend. So essentially, if you have a clip that started and you finished recording it and you wanted to extend that clip a little bit longer, now with this feature, you have the ability to do so. And so it just got to a point where I wanted to. It's coming out soon. It's supposed to be coming out towards the end of 2024, and I wanted to look at other AI features that are across all editing platforms. And so that just got me thinking. So I did some research, and you know what? I want to talk about it for a little bit. So I went through the three major editing softwares that most people use: DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, and Final Cut. And I looked at all their Adobe and their features, and they're pretty much the same. Truthfully, a lot of them have the same features. They just have different names and they call it different things. So it's based on what you prefer, what you want to use it for. But then it got me thinking some more and some more. It's like, well, how much content can we actually create? Right? How much content can we come up with in a certain amount of time? Right? So like, I know for myself, I on average right now, because of my workload, I'm probably putting out on average 5 projects a day. Will AI allow me to be able to create more? I know I can, or I'm already using 1 or 2 tools now that's allowing me to create content faster. But I really genuinely want to see how fast and how much content I can create without obviously getting tired. Does that make sense? So yeah, so let's go through these lists real quick. Features. So yeah, I talk about generative extend. That's essentially adding frames to the clips to make the clip longer. Object edition, which is a simple text prompt that allows you to change the landscape of a shot to swap out its props. That's gonna be pretty cool. It's like in Photoshop or Lightroom where you can take out, where you can take out a lot of the object removal. It's essentially doing that in video as opposed to just photo. That's crazy. And I'm just listing off some of the other ones that actually stuck out to me. You got text-based editing. That's lit. I use that now, right? So like if somebody's talking, I transcribe the entire clip, and then I look for words and look for key points within it to help me sift through what I need to sift through, what I need to add, and it just makes the process a little bit faster. Truthfully, AI audio category tagging. Oh, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically based on the audio tracks that you have, it's already able to detect if it's dialogue, if it's music, if it's sound effects. So it helps you able to navigate and understand what layer is which, or which clip is which. And then if you need to make changes to it, it'll allow you to make it a little bit faster. Speech to text. It's like right. It's like Instagram pretty much, where you can upload your file, upload your video, and then the software will be able to speak the way that it can. Enhanced speech, that's a big one when it comes to audio dialogue. So you're able to make those necessary changes. And then auto reframe, especially when you're adjusting and editing from when you're editing from what's it called? Social media content. It allows you the ability to change reframing relatively easily. Like for example, the videos that I use for this stream, I intend to use an auto reframe, or just do it automatically once I reframe the settings of the sequence. That's just now these are the features that I talked about in Premiere Pro. Now if you go to DaVinci Resolve, you have something similar. They call it AI speech to text transcription, AI based voice isolation, AI audio panning to video. It says with AI audio panning to video, you can quickly pan multiple actors in the scene, control the voice position in the mix environment, so it allows you to mix faster. Audio classification, same thing as AI audio category tagging in Premiere. You can mask a person. That's pretty cool. Super scale. It says it's a unique upscaling algorithm creates new pixels when increasing the resolution of the image. That's dope. So for example, if you have dead images on a sensor, if you have dead pixels in a sensor, this feature will allow you to fill in those sensors or fill in those dead pixels. It's pretty lit. Patch replacer, similar thing. Final Cut, small conform, allows you to automatically adjust the aspect ratio and frame rated as imported. Automatic color correction, that's pretty cool. But Premiere's got something similar for that too. I'm assuming DaVinci Resolve has something similar there. Audio ducking, it allows you to automatically lower the volume of background music. That's lit. Both softwares have something similar. Camera image stabilization, pretty much straightforward. DaVinci and Premiere have something similar. Well, I know Premiere does. I'm not sure about DaVinci. So the AI features are similar across the board. Now the generative extend, that's a new one. I think that's probably why Premiere is promoting it consistently, because it essentially allows you to lengthen the clip based on how it was, as opposed to allowing it to be originally recorded. So that's an asset, right? But for the most part, a lot of the AI features that you're seeing are similar, depending on what editing platform you use. So then that takes me to the next part, where it got me thinking after I did this research. I'm like, well, how much content can we create? So I did some research, found some articles, and I went to siegemedia.com, and they had stats about content creation and the like. And one that stuck out was content marketers reported using AI tools to generate content at 47%. So basically, 1 in 2 content marketers used AI for their content. And I know for me, I'm using AI, and I want to know how many content creators, especially here, are using AI to help their content, right? How many of us are creating content and using AI to help us with our content? I know for myself, I'm just now getting in the process of adjusting from thinking that it's going to replace my skill set and just literally enhancing it, right? So the message that I learned just doing this research was AI it's literally speeding up the process, speeding up the learning curve, right? I'm sure I'm late to the party with that, but after doing my own research, I finally, I'm at a place where I can accept it and appreciate it, right? It's helping me do things faster, especially in the creative space, right? It's instead of it telling me what's wrong with what I'm doing, it provides me alternatives to make it better, and it's up to me to choose ways that I can make it better. And then, I did it with the email for potential client earlier this week. I was like, well, how do I say this? And I just texted it in the AI software for another platform that I use, and it provided me 3 to 4 different alternatives to what I was trying to say, and I just picked the one that was best suited. So I was like, well, this is pretty cool. This is very, very efficient, very, very efficient. So I continued to delve even deeper, and I found an article from Narrative.io, and the topic was AI content creation stats. Well, that's what the topic that I was studying under. And it says almost 73% of marketers report that their companies use generative AI to generate text, videos, images, and other types of content and over 2/3 of them use it as brainstorming. So essentially, you come up with an idea, you type it in the text prompt, and you come up with a slew of concepts. That's great too. That's great for spec work, right? When you go into these marketing meetings and you're trying to convey your image, it's like storyboarding. It's literally in the filmmaking world, literally storyboarding as opposed to drawing the pictures out or taking pictures or using references from other videos. You can create your own references and add that to your own proposals for potential clients or collaborators, and that's whew, I think that's a game changer. Another one that I found was from Salesforce and YouGov, from a Salesforce and YouGov 2023 survey. It was said that marketers using generative AI, 76% employ it for basic content creation and writing copy. So that makes sense. And then it says almost 71% turn it into inspiration for creative thinking. So again, these they're not. It's just another example of they're not replacing the creative people. They're just using it as a litmus. They're using it as a basic framework to inspire who they're trying to communicate with. All right. Then it says according to a 2023 Insider Intelligence eMarketer forecast, it says that over 100 million folks in the U.S. will be dabbling in generative AI by 2024. Fast forward to 2025, and that figure is projected to grow to 116.9 million people. And it continues by 2025, forecasts that over 50% of people in the U.S. between the ages of 12 and 44 will be tapping into the power of generative AI. That's the key right there, man. They be expected into it. So as a content creator, it's more about us to be like, okay, as Bermudians, as creative Bermudians, this is where the game's headed. Even though in our market it doesn't demand for us to use it, it's only going to be a matter of time before it becomes standardized. So it's up to us to be at least start the ball rolling and start slowly incorporate it into our own workflows, so that it will allow us to essentially quote unquote be ahead of the game when it does become standardized, right? Excuse me. So like for example, before COVID, those of us who were heavy in the content creation space before COVID, when COVID hit, it allowed everybody to catch up to the importance of content creation, especially in Brown. So now it's at a place now where we're like, yo, on the other side of it, those of us who prioritized content creation beforehand were essentially a step above everybody who did start during COVID, right? Or we were considered the quote unquote leaders of the content creation space because we were doing it beforehand. I think from what I've read in the year, from what I read up in the past couple of weeks, combine that with the information that I had been introduced to a year or two prior, still AI is not standardized here yet. So at least in the content creation space, we can at least start to be introduced. We start introducing ourselves to it and seeing how we can be incorporated into our day-to-day creative workflows, so that when it does become standardized, we already have a foot in the door, some level of familiarity with it. All right. So then it got me thinking, if this is where content creation is now, where will content creation be, or where is projected to go in the future? Ooh. And so I found an article from LinkedIn, actually, financesonline.com, and essentially it says content, or the video content search. So YouTube. Wait. All right, so yes, so it's the future of AI, and I found three things. Well, the article talks about where AI is being used and how it's being used in the future, and it talks about they came up with three categories. The first one was virtual and augmented reality technologies, collaborative video editing, and personalized content. And when I read it, I'm like, they're starting to incorporate that now, and so I was already introduced to a lot of the concepts that they're talking about. I was just that way. I just was able to figure out what they were. So for the first one, virtual and augmented reality technologies, it's basically XR LED panel walls or virtual sets. So these sets allow you to these sets are created through virtual reality, like a video game. You're creating a whole world, and then these panels are connected to the cameras that you're using. So wherever the camera moves, the the digital virtual reality set matches the camera movement, so it always looks like it's in frame. So if you're panning from left to right or right to left or tilting, and you're panning or tilting or you're dollying, the set is actually adjusting to the set is actually adjusting to the camera movements. So always looks natural. It's not like a green screen where you're creating it in post and adjusting it in post. It's actually in real time. And so when I saw a video of that about a year ago, I'm like, that looks lit. Looks expensive, but that looks lit. And that at that time, directors and cinematographers were trying to adjust to it, as opposed to trying to react to it. Does that make sense? And the second one is collaborative video editing. Excuse me. Essentially, it allows you to have multiple editors on the same project, whether it be colorists, sound mixers, directors, assistant directors, be able to work on the same project at the same time, and be able to, help the project get created faster. It's like a Google Docs for filmmaking. That's what it called. That's what the article talks about. And I'm like, well, I already use that now, called Frame.io. And Frame.io has been a game changer for me. I've been using Frame.io for like 2 to 3 years now for collaboration between clients. And the communication that I have with clients that want to see projects, it's been an eye opener for me. It's been a way easier process. But those of you who don't know what Frame.io is essentially a collaboration tool between creatives, professionals, and investors to allow the process of content creation to be a lot smoother. So originally, let's say you shoot a project, you edit it, you send it off to the client for review, and instead of you sending a file or sending a link, that link that you send to will allow the collaborator or the investor or the client to look at that work in real time, and then allow them to make additions and suggestions exactly where they want the suggestions to, and then provide solutions. So the communication and collaboration is way faster. And then obviously the platform has a lot of benefits and intricacies and unique principles in the actual app. For me, I use it. I've been using it for a few years, and I recommend it. I would recommend it to anybody. If you're a collaborator, if you create content and you want to be able to communicate with your clients a lot faster and in a way where they'll be able to visually understand what you're trying to say, Frame.io is the way to go. Frame.io. It's if you got Premiere Pro as an editing suite, it will naturally when you pay your subscription, it already automatically allows it. It automatically allows you the ability to create that account for yourself. Already a certain level of requirements that you already have access to. So if you have a Premiere Pro subscription, or at least an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, check into that, look into it, because I genuinely don't think you'll be disappointed. And nowadays you have advanced cameras that allow you the ability to finish recording. As soon as you finish recording, it automatically uploads those files to the Frame.io's database, which will allow your editor to get access to those files and edit even faster. So originally, when most of us do it now, if we have a separate editor editing our content, we shoot the files and then we either send it to them through retransfer or we send them to SD cards. Now with Frame.io, as soon as you finish pressing record, those files are being uploaded wirelessly in a separate location to your Frame.io collaborator account that allows the editor to get access to it, to download those files, to check out those files. It just streamlines the process way faster. So yeah, I can't say nothing bad about Frame.io, and I've been using it for a few years, and genuinely, it has not let me down. Alright, and so the last one was personalized content. We're seeing that now too. The algorithm. right? What I see on my phone is different than what I see in my brother's phone. That's different than what I see in my brother's phone. And that's different than what I see in my sister's phone. The article talks about you can watch a video and you and the person sitting next to you won't see the same advertisement based on your preferences, based on your algorithm. We're seeing it now on social media. So whatever you like, you're gonna be fed that information. So you maybe now it's gonna get more personalized. So what you watch is going to be tailored to what you like and be able to communicate the way that you want to be communicated with. And that's a bit scary because you're going to have stuff sold to you. Um, but in the place of marketing, it's not always about what you say, it's how you say it. So that's where this article talks about what you can expect to see in the future when it comes to artificial intelligence in the creative space. So like as I finish out, it's more about, okay, what does that mean for her? What does that mean for Baron? What does that mean for Bermuda, truthfully, as creatives, right? As artists, what does that mean for AI here? Because it hasn't become standardized here yet. We're really another 3 to 5 years before it becomes standardized in our day-to-day interactions, right? At least. And so what can we do now to start that process of adjusting? I think the best way that I can go about it is understanding the small things of trying to incorporate it, like whatever platform you use, primarily just tap into the artificial intelligence feature. Just ask it a question, see how you feel, right? Ask it, okay, what's 1 plus 1, or what's 2 plus 2, or how can I get here faster, or what can I do slower, or what can I do differently, and just learn it. Like it's like learning a child. What does it do? What's its strengths? What's its weaknesses? And then incorporate it into the actual, into your workflow. Like for me, when it comes to editing, I literally transcribe. Let's say if I have 5 projects that I'm editing with, that have order, that have dialogue, I pretty much transcribe maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then from there I'm able to process. Okay, how am I using that part? Am I using this part? I'm keeping that part, and then I'm able to be more intentional with my editing process as opposed to trying to figure out what time, or trying to figure out the time code of specific words that was said. So combine that with what Generative Extend is going to be doing in Premiere Pro in the next months, or at least they plan on releasing it in the next few months. That's going to be a part that's going to be crazy for me. Like, that's going to be a part where I'm going to be looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it all year. And finally, they're at a place where they're talking about it again, where it's going to be released, or it's projected to be released before the end of the year. So those are the 2 things that I'm looking forward to when it comes to AI, when it comes to how it tends to be incorporated, how it tends to be advertised in the creative space. So at least us as locals, at least as local creatives, it's more about us trying to figure out what tools you want AI to be used for, in a standpoint, like how we want to use it, how we want to incorporate it, how we want to understand it, how we want to be a part of it, how we want to talk about what we want to use it for. Right? I think us as creators, what we can do is literally pick one piece on one platform and get good at it, and then develop it from there. It's literally a new skill. Be creative in that skill, and then use it as a tool in your creative toolbox. Add that AI tool into your toolbox. Like you have a rule screwdriver, now add an AI screwdriver, and see how you can use those tools in your creative workflow, so that it'll allow you to be a better creative today than you were yesterday. Because like I said, after the research that I've done, because I was very hesitant, I was very skeptical about the recording of AI and the incorporation of AI. I was like, this thing ain't trying to create better content than me. But all it's really doing, based on the article that I read, based on the questions that I've asked, is just a base level. It's just lowering, it's just hiring or increasing the base level for everybody, to have an more even playing field, right? It's literally what can your imagination, what can it create? What can you come up with that will allow you to be able to do it better, get to where you want to get to faster. Um, so yeah, that's what I really wanted to do. Now it's a test, and I think it came out pretty well. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I enjoyed this conversation. So after, I realized after the last stream that this is gonna be a little while. I can't just stream every week based on my workload, but I can do it every 2 weeks. And so for the next, I can see myself having a live stream in another 2 weeks. I'm recording it now, so I clip the better clips in this stream and then apply it into the next stream. And I'm gonna go from there, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll tell you guys in the next one.